I just noticed that I have a little bit of freckling left over from being Coraline. The first way I'm going to show you how to paint yourself white is with water-activated body paint, which I think, in my opinion, that's the hardest way to paint yourself white, despite me using water-activated paint for everything I do. But if that's what you have available to you, or you just want to learn how to paint yourself white with regular body paint, then keep watching. So actually, when I use water-activated body paint to cover a large area, especially with white, I actually go with a brush like this. It's like a flat brush, and I just swirl it in there, and it ends up turning out pretty good. Things like this. I usually use these kind of brushes when I want like a line of some kind, when I want to be more precise, and this one's for covering like a big area. I just dab the brush in like that, and I kind of, on both sides, kind of scrape off the excess paint where it's like pretty damp, but not too wet. And I just dab it in the paint like that. Just dab it where it has all the sides covered. And it's pretty wet, but it leaves plenty of the paint on there. And then for covering my face, I just kind of swirl it on there. And it leaves a pretty covered area without any seam lines. As you see, I'm doing it live for you to see. Just like massage it in there lightly. Don't press too hard. Just slightly rub it in there. And just keep going. And then when you get into like an area like this, just kind of rub it like that. Just rub it on. And then dab the line away. When you're close to your eye, I just kind of like dab it. And then go back to swirling it around. And then when it's like more of an angled area like this, I just dab it on. Just dab it on. And there you go. It's actually a pretty quick way of covering your face too. And if there's still like a little bit of patchiness, that's okay. Usually that's solved by translucent powder. By the way, that's how I say it, people. Translucent. Get over it. But I just cover it over with translucent powder, and it solves the patchy problem. And when you're running out of paint, just dab back in and go back in. Usually, unless this is looking pretty dry, I don't add any more water. Usually the seam line or the patchy problem comes from adding too much water. As you can see, it's still a little bit patchy, but I'm going to solve that with some translucent powder. I'm just going to apply a generous amount around my face, and I think we're done. So you can kind of tell the difference between the side that's powdered and the side that's not powdered. And for right around the eye area, I like to go in with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk and complete the look. Now, it's just as important to powder around your eyes as everything else, because as you can see, it can start to crease a little bit, so make sure you powder this area too. And after following these steps, you can create any look you want, including being a ghost, or you can be the other mother from Coraline. The second way I'm going to show you how to paint yourself white is with an airbrush. Airbrushing is good for if you want to cover a big space in little time. So example, if you're wearing a bald cap, you can just spray it on, or if you're covering your whole body in a certain color, you can just airbrush it on, and it just makes time go very fast. The downside to airbrushing is when you're buying an airbrush, it's expensive, and all the paint for it is expensive. More expensive than body paint, like a watercolor body paint. The other downside is, maintenance-wise, it can be kind of tricky to take care of. I've had my issues with taking care of my airbrush. I'm not by any means an expert with airbrushing, but I've had quite a bit of experience by now, where I kind of know what I'm doing. A small little introduction to airbrushing. This is your airbrush, and then this is the air compressor. I'm using Graftobians. Graftobian has their own airbrush and line of airbrush paint. So I'm using all Graftobian paint. So obviously I'll be using white because that's the tutorial for right now. You just fill up however much paint you think you need. Just for conserving paint, I like to always go a little bit less than what I think I need, and usually it's perfect. So This paint goes a long way. It looks like a small little bottle, but it's lasted me quite a while. And then this is your trigger right here. With Grabtobians, you just pull it back. There's some where you just push down and then pull it back. That's not the one I have. Mine's really simple. But when you go to spray, don't be too close, because the closer you get to your face, the like more harsh the paint gets, which is pretty useful, but that's not what we're going for right now. So when you're covering your whole face, you want it to be kind of a distance, like a few inches away from your face. You want it to be a little bit further away. That way it sprays it covers quite a bit when you're spraying. And always keep moving. I like to go in like a circular motion. Circular. Now I'm gonna start airbrushing. I'm gonna mute the video because the airbrush is kind of loud. It has like a buzzing sound. But yeah, it's pretty easy. And there we go. So a couple things also I want to say about the airbrush is when you have to put it in layers. So it'll start off pretty transparent and you just add layers until you're satisfied with how bright it is. Also, please make sure if you're ever using an airbrush, make sure you have the windows open or you have good ventilation, because you're gonna get all loopy from all the chemicals you're breathing in. Also, the airbrush, as you can see around my eyes, it's starting to crack. That's kind of normal, so you want to either go in with the milk pencil or an eye primer with white eyeshadow in order for it to stay on your eyes. And yeah, that's all there is to it with the second way to paint yourself white. Moving on to the third. The third way I'm going to talk about on how to paint yourself white is with cream paint, which actually is starting to grow on me as my favorite way of painting myself white, especially my face. It is more time consuming though, so if you want to paint your whole body, it may not be for you, or it's going to take a lot of time. But in my opinion, this is the best way. This is my favorite way and the best looking way I know how to paint myself white. The first thing I'm going to do is moisturize my face, which I do that before any look, but I think it's especially important for cream paint. I just feel like it applies better. And I could talk to you all day long about what moisturizers I've tried and used and what I do use, because I change my mind a lot. And when I say this is my favorite product at the moment, I think in a few months I'm gonna find something even better, or I just like to try new things. So use a moisturizer that you like. Now, I actually learned this technique from Color Creep. She's on YouTube as well, and she's also on Instagram, Kimberly Margarita. And I watched her video on how she paints herself white, and it works. Like, I love it. So, I may do a little bit more different than her, but I learned this technique from her. But if you want to see the original tutorial, I will link it in the description below. So what I'm gonna do is take like a flat sponge like this and just kind of press it into my cream paint, which you can pretty much, not grease paint, cream paint. I hate grease paint. Like in Halloween time, you can find it anywhere, like the Halloween store, maybe even your grocery store, Walgreens. This one comes from Nick, but I'm just gonna press it in there. Just do like firm patting motions. You may have to do a couple layers. You see it's already starting to kind of glide on thanks to the moisturizer. It just like comes on very smoothly. Go in different directions so that way you don't see like the circle pattern of when you're patting. As you can see, I've almost covered half my face. I will continue to do the rest of my face and then add probably one more coat. By now you should be looking like a cakey ghost. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna use it. Now don't judge yet. Don't judge me yet. So we're gonna take a wet, pretty damp sponge and do that same patting motion as when we applied the white paint. And then what that's gonna do is smooth out just smooth pretty much everything out. It's not gonna look cakey as what white paint normally does. You firmly pat it like you're giving yourself a nice face massage. You can kind of see the places that I didn't add enough paint. So it'll also reveal places that you'll need to reapply some paint. See, in doing that step, it's made the paint a lot smoother, not as cakey looking. For my eyes, I use the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which is basically a cream paint on a stick. It's also really important to cover around your eyes with either translucent powder or white eyeshadow. That way it doesn't move around. Once you're satisfied with your white paint, you're ready to powder it down. Powdering it down is actually very important because the way you do it can affect how your paint looks in the end. What I like to use is it's like a white compressed powder, and then use another sponge and just pack it down even more. I like this one. I just ordered it on Amazon, but this one's good for making it look like bright. You're gonna see like my face is gonna go from dim to bright. And it's good. This is especially good when you want to put colors on your face. It's gonna really pop. You just pack it down like you have everything else. And there we go. My face is yet again ghost white. This one, I especially love this one because it's like very seamless, very smooth. I can touch it, and I mean, maybe some powder comes off, but I'm very confident that this paint is not going anywhere. I could probably wear this for hours. So that's another reason why I like this paint, is I'm confident that I can go out and wear this without worrying about it moving around and looking crappy in a couple hours. With this face, you can create anything you want, especially with brighter colors. You can use all the colors of the rainbow on your face. You can even create a galaxy clown. I hope this video was very informative to you guys or helpful. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!